Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik, and this is a game War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. The last two episodes had no sound, or no voice at least. There was some mismanagement with my setup, because I just come back from China the last days and maybe I pushed the wrong button somewhere. Anyway, so you at least saw what happened. I can roughly maybe explain. In the last episode there was a misclick from my side, and I will normally only keep my invasion 3 divisions near Suva unloaded at this dot base, but by misclick I unloaded at the dot base, and this will cost me now some time. At the same time, KilRoy is pushing more and more for Central Pacific, and I must see how I can react, because I have my carriers in the India Ocean and I have my other carrier division source at the Fiji, and only my Congo battlecruisers are nearby to maybe intercept KilRoy's attempt. But battlecruisers and carriers are always a risky operation. So KilRoy have his battleships here near Saipan, so this is also not easy for me to handle. This is too much firepower here in the Central Pacific, where I have more or less nothing. I have a lot of stuff in Rabaul, I have a lot of stuff in Truk, Nomaya, in Japan, but here Saipan, Marcus Island, this is all too early for me to bring here equipment in. And I was worried that KilRoy maybe make some air operations against Saipan. He did it last turn, so I want now bring in some zeros. Unluckily, exactly very similar to what happened with Jochen. I bring in my zeros, and KilRoy come with his battleships and bombard me, and now damage and destroy all my zeros on the ground. Plus a lot of installation getting disabled. And it's the same in Marcus Island. I think this is only a support. No, not bombardment, yeah, but only small caliber. But here's the more heavy stuff, light cruisers, and because simply my units, they don't have really much cover, so these bombardments have effect. Yeah. In a more traditional way, the Americans, I think in real war, they're also going for Gilbert Islands and maybe Marshall Islands and something like this. But they don't try it so deep like KilRoy do it here. And KilRoy not only come with his carriers and battleship and make bombardment, he also bring army units. So he tried to take my Central Pacific islands and cut the supply line between Japan and Truk. Here's the AP. Unluckily I miss, but only 2 torpedoes, so don't know why not you try more, but up to the commander. And more mines here in the Marshall Islands. I think KilRoy used most of his American submarines for laying mines, not so much for using for Mark 14s. And I am able to intercept here one cargo ship with vehicle loaded at Wake Island, after I lost the island only some days ago. Yeah, and here's now the situation that my 3 divisions are locked and sitting on this mini dot base, and I must load them first again. And unloading is much faster than loading, especially because the Japanese have this amphibious assault bonus. This is this British division. I must walk out of the swamp, the British more or less teleport out of it. I also use zeros to make some bombardment attack, and you can see, because the British are already so disabled and out of supplies, that even the 60 kilogram bombs of a zero can create some damage. And this is open clear terrain, so there's nothing to hide. I would really say, if you want to make damage, then you need open terrain. Everything else will of course maybe increase fatigue, but not create direct losses. Not in the easy way, at least. The Hudsons are coming and going. The SB3s also, and I think my Oscars are a little fatigued, so I extend them down. They don't really create here any damage. These are long range, I think, Hudsons. This is, I think, the definition here of this LR. I don't know if there's really. Maybe if I have time, I can check later. What is the difference between Hudson 3 and Hudson 3 LR? Good. And also some British Vincent. I think these are torpedo bombers. Not much damage, but some. And I was hoping that I can maybe lure him to attack my carriers, but this was not working. And yeah, the situation is more or less that here is this carriers coming back. Now they're making the big strike on Saipan after the battleships already bombarded. And there's the next. I think this was the only ship was left. It was already damaged, so I had no choice. And luckily, they only killed 2 zeros on the ground and much more damage to the installation. So Saipan is more or less out of action. And KilRoy took a wake. And Marcos Island was, I think, something getting wrong. I don't know what, but that was a failed attempt so far. Yeah, now the destroyer is hunting my subs in wake. And finally, I also catch up this Chinese forces north of Wenshao. This is maybe really the Wenshao Chinese army left over. And they're retreating, of course. So the jumping direction of Hangzhou, Shanghai. But I have also a lot of disabled units. Luckily, then I'm near to Shanghai, maybe I can rest there. Bombardment of Changsha. I'm waiting for the additional division arriving, I think, in 2 days. And at the same time I can chip away a little Chinese forces. These are maybe the last Dutch forces and they're surrendering, so Timor is also completely conquered. Light losses only on my side. I try again to break Nadi, but no, this one regiment is simply not possible to overcome this terrain. And I think I'm also running out of supplies. So because KilRoy was misclicking something or missing something, I mean something gets wrong, he only sends his AA regiment, and of course these guys I can take out. So, and this was only a part, I think, maybe. You can see there's the first part of this regiment. So this I was able to more or less kick back. Wait. Okay. And this is only counter bombardment from KilRoy, hurting my regiment at only 9. Nothing else happened? Good. Good. So, end of the day, KilRoy pushing more for Saipan. Not sure how he will pay for this. I losing now at the end 21 zeros on the ground. Yeah. It's always a risky operation. I was hoping that I can intercept his fighters or dive bombers in the air, but of course not if he bombard me first in the night. Yeah. Was a little risky. I losing out of this at the end only 4 killed pilots plus 4 wounded. So nothing really critical, and zeros I can produce normally in high numbers. So it would not really hurt me too much. And this one patrol boat is also nothing changing. I was able to kick the Chinese, they running back to north. So I won. I try to catch up again and then get rid of them. Yeah, this is only support stuff. So the division arrived in Changsha. Next turn I can attack and maybe, hopefully, take the city. I'm also catching up here with this leftover Chinese Yan'an army, whatever. At the same time, maybe in Lenshao, I'm waiting that my division is recovering. Now it's getting, disruption getting down. At the same time, I arrive at this dot base, and I can also take this one. Nothing more in China. Burma, no air war, no activity. My carriers are arriving at Phuket, so everyone know Phuket these days. If you want cheap alcohol and cheap other night activity, you can fly to Phuket. But I really never was in Phuket. I fly to Bangkok to interchange and change my flight to often to other locations. But most of times these days I try to fly to Singapore. It's much more convenient. The airport is have better organization. The British forces are still holding here, but they have no supplies, no hope for anything. All bases are conquered, so I only try to get out of the swamp, and this is not easy with this kind of tanks. Timor is now under control, no base left, so I think there's really no Dutch base left KilRoy can use. I know that here's some, I think in these 2 bases there's maybe some smaller base force equipment, but this is the rest. And then there's only Darwin. Once this 3-4 locations are taken, then I think there's nothing more to really send submarines to the Java Sea if it's not coming out of Colombo or Rangoon. But Rangoon will be soon maybe also out of action for KilRoy. Here is no activity. Coral Sea is empty. New Caledonian is empty. I try to push here more at Denadi, and I control the seas and I control the skies more or less. There's some American submarine. I hope this will not have a lucky hit on my carriers. And I only try to load my troops again, getting on the ships. I need maybe 2 or 3 more days. You can see that I think I have last turn roughly 300. Now so I can load 100 attack value per day. So I need 2 or 3 more days to load before I can bring them to Nadi. Yeah, waste of time, of course. Central Pacific, Marshall Islands is so far no activity. Wake is taken. There's a lot of task forces here. I try with my subs what is possible to intercept. At the same time, out of Truk, I have in Truk no air HQ because there is not enough air HQs, and I sent all source because I had normally my focus for New Caledonian and Fiji and not so much here in this area, Central Pacific. And now I'm a little out of position. Saipan was a big air base, but it's now completely destroyed. No supplies left, oil is broken. What I can do? no forces are here left, and KilRoy landed in Pagan and used this maybe for his activity in the future. Temporary, at least temporarily, for a short time. I was able to secure Marcus Island, but for how long? If KilRoy is coming with his real invasion attempt, then we will see. Now I have also only a Navy Guard unit and some scout stuff, but if I bring now here aircraft here into this island, is also I'm low on supplies, and if we have battleships, he can always blast everything away out of this base, and there's only really a small airfield. So maybe I must increase my presence here on the Shishijima, the bigger sister island of Iwo Jima. The Japanese have here the installation, and Iwo Jima is normally here not so important for me, but for the Americans it's maybe nice to have I don't know why they really want this island. You can build here an airfield of 4, but I thought you need normally a 5. Yeah, okay. You cannot get here, you only can get an airfield of 3. Here of Iwo Jima you can get an airfield of 4, but I thought 4 engine bombers need airfield of 5, so I'm not so sure. But for me it's really an island, have no value. I have everything here. All I can do is now try to bring in submarines and simply mess up with his activity, and so long he have carriers nearby, I also don't know if I can use the long-range torpedo bombers as Nels or Bettys. They're dying too quickly, so I must maybe hold back for a moment. I need something what have firepower and can stand against enemy battleships and carriers, and there is not much I have for this now. Yeah, at the end the game gets hot. We have now more activity, let's say this. Thank you all, see you next time, take care, bye bye.